Emmylou Harris has spent a lifetime singing about love, loss, and the fragile threads that hold people together. Yet her own story has never followed a simple path. While her voice became one of the defining sounds of country and Americana music, her personal life often unfolded in quieter, more complicated ways. She never built her identity around a single lasting partnership, nor did she present a traditional image of family life. Instead, her journey reflects a series of choices, some necessary, some difficult, that shaped both her music and her solitude. What makes her story powerful is not tragedy, but honesty. She has never hidden the fact that devotion to art sometimes comes at a cost. And in her case, music became not just a career, but a place where everything unspoken could finally exist. A childhood of discipline and distance. Born in 1947 in Birmingham, Alabama, Emmylou Harris grew up in a military family where discipline and resilience were part of everyday life. Her father's service meant long absences and emotional experiences that were rarely discussed openly. The family moved frequently, from Alabama to North Carolina to Virginia, creating a childhood defined by constant adjustment. For a young girl, this meant learning how to adapt quickly while keeping emotions contained. Stability was never guaranteed, and connection often felt temporary. At school, she excelled academically and participated in music, but there was always a sense of quiet observation behind her outward confidence. These early experiences shaped her deeply. They taught her how to endure change, but also how to carry feelings inward. That inner world would later become the foundation of her music's emotional depth. Discovering a voice through folk music, music entered Emmylou's life as something personal before it ever became professional. Influenced by artists like Bob Dylan and Joan Baez, she found herself drawn to folk music's introspective style. It offered a space where emotions didn't need to be explained. They could simply exist. When she received her first guitar, it became more than an instrument. It was a way to express what words alone could not. During her college years at the University of North Carolina, she initially pursued acting, believing it might be her path, but over time she realized something important. Acting required her to step into someone else's emotions, while music allowed her to reveal her own. That realization quietly shifted her direction. Music was no longer just an interest, it became her truest form of communication. Early struggles and hard choices. Like many artists starting out, Emmylou's early career was marked by uncertainty. Moving to New York, she immersed herself in the folk scene, performing in small venues while working to support herself. Her first album, Gliding Bird, did not achieve commercial success, leaving her at a crossroads. At the same time, her personal life brought new responsibilities, including motherhood. Balancing a demanding artistic path with the needs of a young child proved incredibly difficult. Eventually, she made the painful decision to prioritize stability for her daughter, allowing her to live with family while Emmylou continued pursuing music. It was not a choice made lightly, but one shaped by circumstance. This period of her life reflects the reality behind many artistic journeys. Progress often comes with sacrifices that are rarely visible to the public. A turning point with Graham Parsons. Emmylou Harris's career changed profoundly when she met Graham Parsons. Their collaboration introduced her to a new musical direction, blending country, rock, and folk into something deeply expressive. Working together on projects like GP and Grievous Angel, they created music that felt both innovative and timeless. Their voices complemented each other in a way that seemed effortless, yet emotionally rich. Parsons became not only a collaborator, but a guiding influence in her artistic development. His belief in her talent gave her confidence at a crucial moment. When he passed away in 1973, it was a devastating loss. But rather than stepping away, Emmylou chose to continue, carrying forward the musical vision they had shared. It was a defining moment that solidified her commitment to her path, rising success, and artistic identity. The mid-1970s marked Emmylou Harris's emergence as a major force in music. Albums like Pieces of the Sky and Elite Hotel established her as a distinctive voice in country music. She didn't simply follow tradition, she expanded it, blending genres while maintaining emotional authenticity. Her work with the Hot Band helped shape a sound that felt both classic and contemporary. Success brought recognition, but it also brought pressure. Expectations grew and the demands of touring and recording intensified. Yet through it all, she remained focused on the music itself. She wasn't driven by image or trends, but by a desire to tell stories honestly. This commitment allowed her to build a lasting career, one rooted in substance rather than spectacle, love, work, and the difficulty of balance. Emmylou's personal relationships often developed alongside her professional life, and that overlap was not always easy to sustain. Her marriage to Brian Ahern reflected a deep creative partnership, but the demands of constant work eventually created distance. Later relationships followed a similar pattern, connection shaped by shared artistic understanding, yet challenged by the realities of a life centered on music. These experiences weren't defined by drama, but by gradual strain. Over time, she came to understand that maintaining both a demanding career and a traditional personal life required compromises that were difficult to sustain. Rather than forcing a balance that didn't feel natural, she began to accept a different kind of life, one where independence and creativity took precedence, reinvention, and creative courage. As the music industry evolved, Emmylou Harris continued to evolve with it. In the 1990s, she took creative risks that reshaped her sound, most notably with Wrecking Ball. This project introduced a more atmospheric and introspective style, moving beyond traditional country boundaries. It was a bold shift, one that demonstrated her willingness to grow rather than remain static. Later albums like Red Dirt Girl showed a more personal, reflective approach to songwriting. These works weren't about commercial success, they were about expression and authenticity. Her ability to reinvent herself while staying true to her core identity is one of the reasons her career has endured. She proved that artistic growth doesn't require abandoning the past, it can build upon it, finding peace on her own terms. In later years, Emmylou Harris embraced a quieter, more balanced life. She continued to create music, but without the relentless pace that once defined her career. Family, friendships, and personal interests became more central, offering a sense of grounding that had often been missing. She also dedicated time to causes she cared about, reflecting a broader sense of purpose beyond music. Rather than viewing solitude as absence, she came to see it as a form of clarity. It allowed her to live without the pressures that had once shaped her choices. This stage of her life reflects a different kind of success, not measured by charts or awards, but by a sense of peace and self-understanding, a legacy of honesty and endurance. Emmylou Harris's legacy extends far beyond her music. She represents a way of living and creating that values honesty over perfection. Her career has influenced generations of artists, not just through her sound, but through her approach to art and life. She has shown that it's possible to evolve, to face difficult choices, and to continue moving forward without losing oneself. Her story is not about having all the answers, it's about embracing complexity. In a world that often seeks simple narratives, her life stands as a reminder that depth and authenticity matter. And when her voice is heard, it carries not just melody, but the weight of a life fully lived.